This is the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, and my name is Errol Marks, and this is Job in the Mouth. We're here at Super Bowl 59 at Radio Row, and I'm definitely not a genie, and I'm definitely not going to rot in a bottle, but we're here with somebody who's an advocate, a person that really looks up for many different things, and this is a guy that I have a lot of respect for. I read about him, and now we have him on the show. We have Stan Slovin, the president of Rebecca's Dream. How are you, Stan?
We are great. First of all, thank you so much for having us on Job in the Mouth. This is a pleasure, and also being on Radio Row with both of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, no, it's a great honor. It's a great experience. We've been just talking about mental health advocacy with obviously going on with the sports world, not just like football and the NFL, which is doing a lot of stuff right now with concussion protocol, CTE stuff, but the whole world of sports is coming out saying, hey, you know what? It's okay to not be okay. Let's talk about this stuff.
Yeah. It's interesting. We spoke about CTE so many times on our show. We've interviewed so many athletes that's had problems after the game. I mean, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. And it's crazy because as much as I think the NFL is trying to help these athletes, I don't think they're doing enough. What are your thoughts to that?
First of all, it starts early on. So the NFL could only do so much. And I think in the last few years, you've seen a lot of the NFL players come out and say, hey, you know what? I'm suffering or I'm going through this. So, you have your leaders out there and you have your figure, that want to help these young adults. But it starts in the community. And I think really one of the reasons why the NFL is trying, for the awareness is that they're starting to see their veterans be affected. Okay, they're losing 24,000 collegiate athletes a year. Think about committing suicide.
Wow.
1,100 do. You know what? That's an eye-opener for the NFL. It's not just for that sport. It's for all the sports. I mean, you guys are involved in all these sports and everything. You hear, it's tough because, years ago when we were, obviously young or whatever, you couldn't talk about
I'm getting up there, man.
Right?
It's taboo. It's taboo.
I am. I mean, how old do you think I am, by the way?
I'm thinking that whole 31 to 39.
Well,
wow. That's a compliment.
That's a compliment. I'm 40. I'm 42. I'm everybody's elder.
How old am I? I'm a Chicago.
I'm going to say 39. What do you think?
All right. Who's your daddy?
Well, you're definitely not if you're 39.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But no, going back is right now they're trying to get into the communities and the schools, and it's all about getting the parents to talk to the kids. Think about it. If you're a collegiate athlete or you're a potential, you can't talk about that with your parents, right? Because that's potentially going to be a game breaker. So
I played a little background on me. I played baseball at LSU, played in major leagues for the Yankees, for Cleveland, for Texas. I don't think we had somebody to go to at LSU while I was there. And this is in 2012. So 2012, I don't think we had anybody. Now, when I got to New York, we had a designated sports psychiatrist that was there. When I got traded to Cleveland, we had a female sports psychiatrist. And then in Texas, we had another male. And I found it easier to go to the female and talk. And, I don't think you really know until it's too late. Like, man, I got anxiety. And so I think it's great, man. I think it's great that people are talking and athletes are talking because you have to be right up here if you want to be at your best.
So this is interesting. You hurt your knee?
Yes.
Okay, I hurt my shoulder. I go right. Exactly.
I've had 2 elbow surgeries.
Okay, you go into that locker room, you get an MRI, you get that surgery, you get that rehab. You are back on, and you are like, okay, there's no mental health door in these locker rooms.
Right.
That's the eye opener. So yes, even though the schools are trying to do a little bit more, it's going to take a lot more to reduce that stigma. So the stigma's still out there. Yeah. And again, the hard thing is like if I say something, am I embarrassed to say something, or should I be ashamed to say something, or come on, get back out there. You're okay.
Right.
It's not. It's a real disease. So Rebecca's Dream, what we're trying to do is not only bring awareness and education, we're trying to get the communities involved at that younger level. So that, that grammar school, middle school, high school, college. So when they get to that professional fee and they get to that area, it's not the first time.
Have a good foundation.
Good foundation, good infrastructure. And that's really what mental health is all about. And by the way, you're seeing it also like, gymnasts, someone,
I was just about to get into that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I really wanted to get into that because in Michigan State, obviously, we know what happened quite a few years ago, and somebody got jammed up in jail and is probably getting jammed up right now from a guy named Bubba. But right now, you look at what's going on. I mean, Biles, she actually didn't even want to finish the Olympics for almost 8 years ago because of the situation, and then she came back. She won all these different gold medals. She's probably one of the most decorated Olympians we've ever had, and the way she's fought through all these problems that she probably hasn't, probably will have for the rest of her life is pretty amazing. When you look at all the different things that you've seen over the last couple of years, especially to women, what would you say would be the best thing for them to do if something like this happens to them?
First of all, you saw this in the gymnastic world. You're seeing it in the figure skating world. You're seeing it in the tennis world, right? You need to be able to talk about it and not be looked at as, hey, you know what? We can't talk about mental health anymore. So what's happening is that the days, of saying, hey, you know what? The stigma and all that. But here's the thing. You got to be able to check in because a lot of these athletes are under a lot of pressure. You remember in baseball, okay? Yes. I mean, you're under total pressure. You're under contract pressure. You're under performance pressure. And what about when you're done? Yep. Okay, all these athletes.
It's been the hardest. Transitioning out of the game has been the hardest for me. Obviously, you go with the day-to-day anxieties while playing, but you're very focused on what you want to do. Now, when the phone rings and it's your turn to pitch, like leading up until that point, you're pretty anxious because you unless you know when you're going to pitch, it's like then the phone rings and then it kind of goes away.
Right.
But after the game,
and
then post and then getting into the off season and then where's my next contract going to be? Where's this? And it's like you deal with a lot of stresses and that's there. But I think when you retire, you get out of the game, that transition phase is way more stressful because the checks stop coming in.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to play a little while to have a little bit of a security blanket, but I don't want to I don't want to keep digging into that. Right. So it's like, you see your bank account going down.
Cameras, the applause, the crowd
goes away.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with that?
Well, this is where I think three things. First, there's programs out there that are created so that not only athletes, but anyone in the area of challenges after or challenges in transition. So we do a thing like teens in transition, college years. Okay, think about that. High school kids going to college. Okay, biggest mental health issue, second leading area of death is mental health and suicide. The transition,
kids going into college
are pressured. They're undergrades. They're leaving their homes. They don't get into the fraternity or the sorority that they want to get into. Like all those like that. Okay, everything, but we're older. We can handle it.
Yep.
They're in those years with the mentality and the mental capacity is not there to handle those pressures. So what's their schools, administrators, municipalities, companies, companies like wellness, NFL, is getting the message of we got to tackle this thing. But the NFL is still kind of behind also, and they're doing things for their veterans, and they have like a mental health awareness thing. They have programs for the athletes. And they have for the coaches. What we don't think about is the staff. Okay, we're thinking about how do we take care of this like $100 million contract guy that doesn't want to go out on a Sunday afternoon because he's not feeling too good. Oh no, you got coaching staff, you got back office, you got front office,
and they're on year-to-year contracts sometimes. And it's like if you perform, maybe get it next year. If not, we'll see you.
Yeah. So I think the world of sports, all the sports and everything right now is going through the same area. I think that they're taking examples, going back to LSU again, all right? Some of the schools are ahead, some are not. Here's the difference. You don't want to be reactive to this area.
No.
Reactive is not a good thing in mental health. So we want to be proactive, and that's the difference. That's what I think is the change that's happening. The stigma is still out there. All right, the world is still not accepting. My message to obviously your listeners, if you're a parent and you have any issue or potential issues that the child is going to have a conversation, open up that dialogue, have a meaningful conversation, have a discussion, because we don't want to be reactive in this world. We want to be proactive. Coaches need to be more proactive with their players. Screen them, coach them, get into that, find out if they're having those issues. And then the last one is transition. When you have kids that are transitioning, you have athletes that are transitioning, don't leave them. Have those associations. Retired Players Association has to play a much bigger role on making sure that these athletes that have spent 3, 5, or 7 years, but have 20 to 25 years, are able to have good capacity with mental health resources, education, and awareness.
We're here with Stan Slovin, the president of Rebecca's Dream. He's doing so many big things, trying to help awareness to a lot of people that have mental issues, and I'm one of them. So you could probably help me. I mean, I'm a little lost sometimes. I mean, it's funny because I met Nick Goody, and the funny story with Nick, he came on our show, and then after the show, he was like, man, he actually called me after the show. He's like, man, you're great. You're crazy, man. You lost it. And what makes me different, and what I see about people is be yourself. It doesn't matter if you're weird, you're crazy, or nuts. if you're yourself, it brings out your personality. And I think that's something that a lot of people in this industry don't do enough of. People are afraid to be judged, and everybody's got
authentic.
problems.
So when you say be yourself,
Yes.
help me understand that in terms of like how I agree. I mean,
Mhm.
that's a great transition, but we don't see that happen as much.
Yeah, and the
People are
problem
not.
is that you have all these people. You
They want
have
to be politically correct.
Yes, you have the
wanna be
NFL, you have the NFL, you have the NBA, you have the NHL, you have all these companies that are looking at you, and they're like, "Do I want to work with this guy because he's funny and he's crazy and he's like one of those guys that might hit a home run or maybe strike out, or do I want to work with a guy that's going to bring out content that somebody doesn't have, that's unique and different, and it's going to drive fans to realize that you can be whatever you want, just be yourself."
And when you're done, give back.
And
Yeah,
give
yeah.
back
Give
100%. And that's what I want.
100%. And if we can just, I'm sorry.
No, no, it's all right. I what I don't understand about some of the things, and I'm not putting anybody down to go out there and work their asses off to put out the content, and we talk about it all the time. But when you realize that you are the best at what you do and you don't get the recognition, that bothers me, because you put the work in, you work so hard, you drive yourself to be the best that you can be and beat everybody, all the opposing people on whoever they interview or whoever they're talking to, and give the knowledge and make them laugh by doing it. I think people are lost to understand where the business is and where the business isn't going. They need people like us that is going to give a different look to the media world, to the sports world, to the comedy world, and realize that you can be whatever you want to be. The problem is people their mental issues and their capacity says, I can't do it because that guy can't do it and he's more talented than me. But they don't realize that they have the talent. If all they have to do is go out there and work for it and go after it, just like he did as a baseball player. He's 5'10". I mean, there are guys,
6'1" on my baseball card.
I had 6'1". I mean, you have Jabba Chamberlain, who's a part of our show. He's 6'3". He's a monster. And maybe that's why he throws 97, 98. This guy throws 94, 95, and he was like 4 inches smaller than him. He had little man syndrome. You know what I mean?
Nah.
So, Earl, I'll say two things. First of all, we're honored that you guys consider mental health as a key issue to talk about on Radio
100%.
Row and during the
I
sports
lived
world.
it, man.
And you lived it. Empathy, being better listeners. If we can just have a little bit more empathy and have people just listen a little bit more, just open up the dialogue, let them empty up their buckets, and just have that meaningful dialogue. I think that the mental health world, would be better served. But I think people will learn this, like, hey, listen, this is a real thing, and we have to really curb this early on. So, I appreciate you guys.
I think you're awesome. I think everything that you've done for the industry and what you're doing for obviously Rebecca's Dream, I think it's incredible. I don't understand some people on why they sponsor or they try to drive a product or something that they really have their heart set on it, because some of them are not doing it for the right reasons. They're doing it for other reasons to benefit themselves or other people around them. I can tell you're sincere.
He's genuine.
You're genuine.
Yeah.
And I think that, to me, is what makes you unique. And to me, I would absolutely love to work with you on your future endeavors with Rebecca's Dream.
Thank you. Rebecca'sDream.org is a great area for anyone to get. Remember, 988. That's the crisis hotline. So we always talk about that. That's your national hotline. But Rebecca'sDream.org, programs, resources, anything to help people get through. And we'd love to work with you guys as well.
One question before we let you go. Okay, this is, and you have to tell me the truth here.
Cubs won the World Series. Bears are not going to win the Super Bowl. And yes, and we are from Chicago, so 3-peat is key for us. You guys know that we developed 3-peat.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, there he goes.
Here we go.
Now he's starting to hit home runs, baby.
Fish, help me here.
Fish is smelling up.
There's a spot in Chicago. What is it called? Is it Hot Dog Heaven or something?
Hot Dog Heaven, deep dish pizza.
Where they give the shakes. You ever got a chocolate shake?
I had the shakes.
Wiener Circle.
Wiener Circle. Shake. Oh, bro, my agent.
Oh, you like the hot dogs. He likes the sausages. He likes the sausages.
My agent sent me in there.
He loves sausages.
Oh, Italian sausage.
Yeah, he likes the
Wiener Circle burns down every 7 years. You know why? They need a new place.
I bet. They're shaking too much.
They're shaking too
What's
much.
your favorite sausage, by the way?
Favorite sausage?
Yeah. Do you like it hot? Do you like it long? Do you like it thick? What do you like?
Oh, goodness. See what I'm saying? He needs mental health, dog.
I'm a good Italian Jew from Chicago. Okay, I like the Italian
I'm Jewish
sausage.
too, so there you go.
Yeah,
See,
so-
you know that's
So
what you
short
gotta do.
sausage.
Well, mine's a little, you know, I like it like,
I don't
like you know, I like it.
Oh,
Anyway, Stan, we really appreciate you.
oh my God!
Thank you
Earl.
so much.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Ross. Thank you, guys.
Hey, bro.
It was great.
Yeah,
Stan
bro.
Slovin,
You too,
president of
man.
Rebecca's Dream.